That saved a wretch like me. You know, there's an interesting verse in the Bible, if you've never read it, and it's found in a book called the Book of Hebrews. And there's a verse in chapter 9, verse 27 that says this, that it's given to man once to die, and after that, judgment. Now, I don't know about you, but I always used to grow up and I used to hear people say things like, well, there's two things that are certain in life, that's death and taxes. Death and taxes. Well, this verse tells us there's two things certain in life, that's death, which we know comes to everyone, and judgment, that we're going to have to stand before God and give an account. And that became a reality to me one day when I went to a funeral of an elderly man that I knew, and they were talking about what he had done in life, and I remember thinking to myself, well, I wonder what they're going to say about me one day. But then it dawned on me, but what's more important, what is God going to say? Because this reality struck me that I would have to stand before God and give an account for my life. And I knew then I was in trouble, because I'd read verses where Jesus had said, you've heard it said, Jesus' words, you've heard it said, you shall not commit adultery, but he said, I tell you that if you've looked with lust, you've already committed adultery in your heart. So I knew I was guilty. And there was another verse where Jesus said, you shall not murder. That's one of the 10 Commandments. I'm sure we're most familiar with that. But he said, if you have hatred in your heart towards someone else, then you're a murderer already. And so I knew that by that I was guilty. And if I stood before God on the day of judgment, when I died, I'd be in trouble. And I thought, well, what can I do? Well, I heard this song, Amazing Grace, and I heard the gospel of Jesus Christ, which says that Jesus came and died on the cross for sinners, wretches, people like me and you. And that if we put our faith and our trust in him, that we too can have forgiveness of sins. So that is the good news of Jesus. So remember that we've got free Bibles here. You're welcome to take one for a friend if you need. And there's other things here too that might be just helpful for people, because, you know, there's actually a little thing here which a lot of people often ask, questions people ask at different times, and here's one here that answers that. Why would a loving God allow suffering and death? That's just one. There's other things here. People have questions, but we have these things here to help people.